Good evening, peeps. I'm Auriel Grace, and sitting next to me is Kendra Lockhart. So, we have a cool show for you. Make sure to get your writing utensils out because you're going to want to write down some dates and things. This is what I do is it all goes on grid paper. So I can look it up throughout the month and go, oh, okay, that's why today feels like this. Huh. So uh, tomorrow my newsletter is going to go out. Hey, Dana. And so go ahead, sign up for the newsletter. Run over to my website at aurielgrace.net and just front page, put your email address in. It's a monthly newsletter that goes out and it tells you all about all kinds of stuff. That's very fun for you. All right. I just went through all of my blogs. Hey, Rebecca. And I'm sorry you can't see us. I don't know why you can't, but we're here. So I just went through all of my blogs. You can check out the Clarity 101 tab on my website. Everything is nice and clean and straightened out, all for you. For you. Okay. Okay. So I don't know about y'all this month, but this month I spent the month tidying, cleaning, clearing, moving stuff around. And finally, we're getting close to the end of the retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and then Venus retrograde is almost done. Yay! So I'm like excited about that. So, what did you all tidy up this March? What was it that you did? Okay, so some of you, I don't know why you can't see me on YouTube, Rebecca. I have no idea. I don't know. Anyway, so now some of you have asked me about Kendra. She has a group on Facebook. It's called Know Yourself Well. All right. And then you can go to that group and you can ask to go into the group. Okay. And she also has an Instagram page. It's Know Yourself Well. Go to the Instagram page if you have Instagram and follow her there because she does post on both the Facebook group and the Instagram page. Her name on Facebook is K A E Lockhart. K Lockhart. I call her Kendra. I have always called her Kendra.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yep.
You guys can book an astrology session with her. You can DM her and see if you can book one in for yourself. Make sure that you don't want one tomorrow because you're not going to get it probably tomorrow. All right?
Hold your horses.
You need to book it. You'll need to book it. You'll have to wait for your booking date. Okay? All right. So last week was a really hard week for everybody I spoke to.
Yeah.
Right? So tonight we can take a breath. We can listen to what Kendra says. We can take notes. If you have a calendar, you can write stuff on your calendar. However, which way you're going to do it, so you can keep track of how the astrology is throughout the month. So sometimes I have to listen to the show a second time myself because I have notes that I write. Okay, so we're going to let Kendra walk us through April because April's good.
Woo! Yes.
April looks way better than March.
Drop your favorite emoji to explain how March was for you. Mine would be the poop swirl.
March, I was busy cleaning. I was cleaning so much I had allergy stuff going on. I still have allergy stuff going on.
as a Pisces, the eclipse fell in interesting areas of my life. The first one, unfortunately, was in my house of home and family. And the big breakthrough there, and it was unpleasant. It was uncomfortable, and it was not what I wanted to do, but it was to block and bless a family member who just couldn't honor boundaries and was causing suffering. And I've always given a hall pass. I've always thought, no, you're far enough removed from, the usual suspects that I'll give you grace where I shouldn't be. And so that was really challenging to do. I had to call a friend who is a counselor and give myself some space to say some things and feel some feelings I'd been avoiding.
Yeah.
The second eclipse, which was this weekend, woo.
I was like,
That one, thank God, was in my area of friendship, socializing, and community. And I had some serious long-term gangsters show up and show out and help me through some professional situations. So I couldn't be more grateful. There's just such a space of appreciation. So sometimes an eclipse will rip back what you haven't been looking at, and sometimes it will reveal where you have been underappreciating or under-recognizing worth. But we are out of the eclipse season for now.
okay? Hey, Bonnie. Hi, Kim.
Give yourself an enormous hug for the wobble, because it wasn't just, oh, hey, eclipses in a certain flavor. It was eclipses moving into a new arrangement as far as the lunar nodes. So it was double unfamiliarity. New sign and new north nodes, which completes the last 18 months.
Thank God.
Yeah. So you are done from October 2023. You have buttoned it up. We're on to a new school of the Virgo and Pisces axis. So we're going to be looking at details and higher clarity for the next 18 months through eclipse seasons. So that's your theme. Okay, let's jump into April. Let's not jump into March.
Let's not go to March again.
Let's go to March. Here we go. So fortunately, this is a very weighty month. You are going to get anchored and anchored and anchored. That is the payoff of it. Is it going to be a lot of musical chairs? Also true. There is a ton of shift coming through for us. So I will help you with what you should put your energy and attention on. You are very, very lucky to know that the first week, the first third of April is pretty unremarkable as far as big changes. But there is a stacking and building of transits and aspects that are happening. So we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of that in the conversation. The most important thing that you're going to have going into April is that the first of 4 planets is making a major sign change. That these are the outer planets. These are the ones that take a long time. You've always heard me talk about Mercury and Venus and Mars. Those are very personal to you. The outer ones are what we call transpersonal. And so the big deal is Neptune moves into Aries. You finally, after 11 years, are going to start seeing the dreaming turn into action. Neptune is in a sign of initiation, of courage, of leadership. This is a lot better than, oh, I've lost a lot of time just thinking about thinking.
Right.
When Neptune was in its own home sign, you may have gotten more intuitive and more sensitive to your higher mind. That's fantastic. But inertia doesn't mean much. Thinking about it and not doing it is the same as not thinking about it and not doing it. There's not a whole lot of difference. 10,000 thoughts a day. So the big deal as you approach April is know that Neptune in Aries is happening. You're going to have a little more energy because it's not so sleepy and sluggish. It's not up in la la land and dream time. Implement your intuition. If you got clarity out of it, if you had better dreams over the last 11 years, if some part of you was activated, by all means, don't park it, incorporate it.
Hey, Iris.
All right. So if March was your big reset, whether you liked it or not, April is going to be your momentum. So get ready to have some moving and grooving. Okay. The first chunk of April, the 3rd through the 10th, is going to be very karmic. There are going to be lots of aspects happening, planets in critical angles and harmonies and face-offs and things like that. Instead of giving you a huge info dump on a bunch of new terms, we're going to start to bring it in this year, since we've been doing the show for a while, by explaining what it means and then going into the distinctions.
Cool.
So karmically, in the 7 days between the 3rd and the 10th, you are looking at a realignment around romance, finance, and creativity. Those are good things to anchor down. You're going to grow your consistency by building your strategy. Aries rules the head and the brain, so think better thoughts. You're going to ease into some expansion and kind of come out of your shell like your own personal Groundhog Day. And then you are going to call in your own awakening this month. It's a do-it-yourself. What your awakening looks like for April is not going to look like mine, because I'm me and you're you. But we're both on the same plan called, how do I want to be more conscious this month? And we can look at your big 3 for that. If you're comfortable with knowing who you are as far as your original design. What is my sun sign? What is my moon sign? What is my rising sign? Those helped me immensely in March. I only have one little proverbial black eye from last month as a result, because I know that the sun is my pathway. I know that the moon is my intuition. And I know that the rising sign is how I see the world and the world sees me back. I did a lot of going underground and being off the radar for March. March was a very isolating time for me because I don't need people's perceptions of me while I'm trying to reconfigure my understanding of my world. And
Right.
Knowing those things about me, knowing how I'm built or designed, is extremely useful. What were my tools when the boat started rocking? I went to my faith. That's one of the Pisces gifts. I went to my emotional sobriety. That's one of my Capricorn moon gifts. And knowing when to unplug from socializing because it's only going to water down my clarity and my view, that's the gift of a Gemini rising, is the duality of I'm everybody's best friend. Hold that. I need to go be my best friend. So those are the things that can happen in one of your readings if you choose. And they're tools for life, because those are the things that don't change. That's the imprint of you and how you're designed. All right, so now we're getting ready to some calendar dates. Everybody got it? Here we go. April 12th, Venus goes direct in Pisces. Yay! What is Venus? We're gonna thank you, Creator. It has been the longest Venus retrograde I remember. I was like, oh, that's no big deal. It's 6 weeks. Feels like 6 years.
It does, doesn't it?
What is Venus? And if for all of you who are veterans of the show, Venus is in charge of beauty, love, worth, and wealth. Those are her magnetic gifts. Those are the things in your life that you have as governances. When Venus goes direct, she's had you stop reviewing your past, and sometimes your past has been like, hi, here I am, please review me. A lot of people have been taking a look at their credit card, and I've got to create a new spending habit, which I'm ready to. Thank you, Venus, for that. Venus brought out some old relationships. I got pop quizzed. No, thank you, Venus. But I did end up making better choices about my present and my future as a result of those surprises and those blind spots revealing themselves. The past belongs in the past, and they haven't grown and I have. So that Kendra doesn't exist anymore.
That's right.
You're nostalgic for, and that's one of the downfalls of Venus going into retrograde. She gets all swoony about yesterday. Well, I didn't. I'm a futurist. So we go direct. We're getting our clarity. the two things I want you to get most clear on is it's 2025. This could be a year of surplus and abundance. Just because more money is coming in, don't be foolish with money right now. Get a good habit going so that you can say thank you, please, more. And more is right there in the ethers waiting. But meet it halfway. Transform and become. All right, April 13th, you've got a full moon in Libra. You have two excellent moons happening in April. This is great news. They are both in signs that are Venus-based, which usually brings surprise gifts, whether you're doing the let it go or let it grow method. The full moon in Libra is a let go. You have to let go of over-functioning in your relationships and dynamics. Are you overdoing anything? Where are you out of balance? Are you over-judging people? Are you overdoing it for other people when Auriel will tell you they're adults, they can make their own sandwich, do not mommy this, do not parent this, do not enable this. So that is going to be an extremely graceful thing almost halfway through April. One of my favorites, and it's not everybody's popularity, but I love it. Mercury goes into Aries. I am that kind of person. I have my Mercury in Aries as a birth sign, but it is transiting Mercury through Aries. So my learning, my listening, and my languaging are going to be happy because it'll be in my home nature and element. There will be fast, direct, unfiltered communications and learning. If something's been confusing for a while, this is where you could get your aha and see the big picture. Yep. This is where you find your words. This is where you got to be careful. You might find your words a little too fast. So think before you talk. Aries has impatience, and that is one of my superpowers on getting things done. But it makes it challenging when I'm in teams and everyone else, wants to drag their feet and deliberate. So this is where I know that the collective is getting a little bit of help. They're going to get a little spice in their brain, and I'll be happy because I'll probably be more social because everyone will be excited and seeing things faster and for the first time. And let's discuss and let's make decisions. I'm a very decisive person. This is a very good placement for me. Again, it will also shorten how long your window is before you think, and you might have to bite your tongue, hold your tongue. So watch out. If someone's pushing your buttons and pissing you off a little bit, 1 Mississippi 2, walk away. Yep. Tell me we can have this conversation later. I've got things to do. Do not engage if you can't trust that you can lock it up.
And throw away that key.
Because you can't unring that bell once you say that thing.
Right.
That is what I'm real good at.
So.
All right.
So everybody watch out.
Yeah. Just know that it's like the roller coaster is. We're not doing the slow part where we're going up, up, up the climb. This is the whoosh. So be smart with this. Be smart with this. Be smart with this. Okay? More fire. More fire. April 18th, Mars is going into Leo. You are going to get a bump. You're going to get a bump. As far as your passion, just make sure that you don't put it into the category of attention.
Right.
The dark side of Leo is they are so passionate, and instead of putting it into work or health or relationship or growing a business, instead they want to be the star. No. You don't want it as attention. You don't want your ambition, your action, and your aggression in the bucket of attention. You want that passion and go, if I have $100 passion dollars, what's the best way to spend this?
Right.
I'm going to go take some music lessons. That's what I'm doing. All right. April 19th, the sun moves into Taurus for a season. We have a stability season. Yay.
Yay.
Louder for the cheap seats. Yay.
Yay. Woo.
That's right. All right.
That's
so
you have anything nice to say, don't say it. Lock it up. Throw away the key.
Yeah. Or if you're like me and extremely strategic, say the thing and, brace for the consequences. But you know what? You don't get to do half of it. You don't get to be like, ah, I effed around. Oh no, I found out. No, it's a two-part combination. So if you're
Right.
going to say those things, the consequences are yours, not theirs. Yep. Which is how I had to handle my relative. I had to say all the things.
Sometimes
All right.
you just have to say all the things.
Oh, I did not want to do that. But it's the only way the result was going to get resulted. So what do we want to do with the 4 weeks of the sun in Taurus? What is the sun going to shine light on? Stability, sturdiness, a perfect time to take a look at your physical health. Why? Because Taurus is a spring sign.
Yeah.
Now, the eclipse in Pisces was pulling stuff up. And as a Pisces, I'll tell you what I didn't like about it. Even my skin was getting gross. Like everything was coming up and out. And so I've started my spring detox a little sooner. I'm here with my favorite mug that says OUI, that's yes in French. And I put my little intention into my tea. Like, all right, what do I want to yes for from life? But it's also a detox tea. This is hibiscus. This is clearing out my liver. And hopefully I'll get glamorous again soon.
Yes, hibiscus is great for that. Yep.
All right, so Taurus is a builder. Taurus is a fertilizer. You have 4 weeks from April 19th to probably May 18th to get excited about your sturdiness, your stability, and your physical health. But it's not going to happen if you're just going to dream it. You go back to Neptune and go, where did my imagination go? What was my big idea? Execute. Get it real. Be my own leader with my own ideas.
Right.
On the 27th, you got the new moon in Taurus. Again, another Venus-ruled sign, another gentle moon. So new moon means let it grow. And this is where you're going to plant seeds for the things that Taurus is great at. Taurus is great at business. Taurus is great at wellness. I've got my Mars in Taurus. I almost never get sick. I don't take that for granted, but it's a nice attribute. I'm not going to lie. Plant your seeds as far as romance. Taurus is a very loving sign. They love the earth and they love the people on the earth. So where are you going to plant some seeds? If I've got a new moon in Taurus, in the sign of Taurus, I know what I'm doing. It's time for me to refresh my wellness.
Right.
What does that look like? This is the year that I will be writing my workbooks. This is the year you're going to start learning about my other areas of knowledge instead of just astrology. All my energetic integration as far as the future of alternative medicine.
Awesome.
You'll see me on YouTube soon. So I'm planting those seeds. Okay, and then to close the month on April 30th, Venus moves into Aries. I'm happy that she's out of Pisces. She loves being in Pisces. Venus in Pisces is just pure Aphrodite. She's like, oh, I could just lay on the beach and eat the bonbons. That is not my love language. I'm allergic to laziness, and I'm not saying that she is in that sign, but there's not a lot popping.
She's really relaxed.
Yeah.
She's taking a break.
Yes, she is. Yeah. She's. The Italians say the art of doing nothing and letting it. However, when you put Venus in Aries, she's like, hey, I like this flavor of independence. Why don't I just go be a little bit of a boss at wealth and worth and love and beauty? And those are exciting things. You've got something you love, go be bold about it. She will go after and decide with confidence what she truly wants to call in. She's an incredibly magnetic force. Mars is very electric. And that's why they're an interesting combo to really master as far as understanding, so that you can use those archetypes, you can use those ideas and constructs on which card you want to play at your little poker game of life. And so when Venus goes into Aries, don't be surprised if people are going to say that kind of you snooze, you lose.
Yes.
All right. So there you go. There is April 2025. It is your reward for March 2025, in my opinion.
Well, I'm glad that, I felt like the first part of April was just going to be like kind of everybody just kind of balancing out, like
Mhm.
just kind of, okay, we're through. We've ran the mile in like 1 second. All right, good. So the energy is gonna like kind of flow a little bit better instead of kind of being really wavy and jaggedy and stormy. It's
Yes.
gonna start to it's
Mhm.
gonna start to we're gonna start to have some gentle rollers.
You know what? That's really well said. Is we're out of the sea and onto the shore.
Yeah,
So get your land legs instead of your sea legs. You'll
right.
be fine.
And get really grounded too, because I feel like with April, even though it looks like we're gently rolling in after the storm, we really need to be aware of, be very present. And like Kendra said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. We talked about communication last week, I think. And remember, when you're communicating, everyone doesn't communicate the same way you do. Kendra and I do not communicate the same way as each other does. And so, because of that, we draw in different people. And we may be saying like the same type of story, but we have different ways of speaking. And so, when you're like sitting there going, well, I wouldn't do that when you see somebody else doing it. Yeah, because you're not them.
Hmm?
Do not put
And
your
you're
stuff on other people.
Yeah, just because you get a little spicier in your communication, everyone's going to get a little spicier. So, watch out for the quiet ones. They
Yeah.
get to the end of their rope, you know?
Hmm.
If they're at all like me and they get a little dose of that Mercury and Aries, they're going to shoot their shot if you're, lipping off a little bit.
Right. So remember this month to be very present. Remember to have clear communication. Let everybody make their own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because if they are adults, they know how to make them.
Mhm.
And it's good that we don't enable people because everybody needs to learn how to do things. And sometimes people choose the hard way to do things. It's their choice.
Let them be on their journey. Do
Right,
not default to some codependent mechanism in you where you need them to do it on your timetable or you're lonely because they're not caught up. Don't do that.
right,
This of all the months of this year, April's the wrong one to do this.
right.
Let
So
them be on their journey.
go ahead. Oh, okay. So remember, okay, allow people their own growth, even if you don't feel like they're in the place that you think they should be. They're actually in the perfect place for them.
And you
Sometimes we have to,
let go on the full moon in Libra as far as that over functioning and over judging and being out of balance.
right.
Give it back to yourself.
And if you don't like the things that are going on in your government, community, city, the whole state, United States, there are ways that you can communicate that. There are ways that you can do things with that. So instead of getting all huffy and puffy and wild and crazy, look at the ways that you can actually help.
Yes. Manage it backwards. Figure out the result you really want instead of the way you want to talk about it.
Right,
There's going to be a big protest here in Chicago on the 5th, and I don't get good vibes about it.
right. And so make sure you check the vibes with these protests because there's going to be more protests. Pluto is in Aquarius.
It's the collective transformation now.
Yes. So if you think you're going to go to an event, but you feel like that day or something, you feel like, better not go, don't go. Just watch it from TV at home. That's, or watch it from whatever at home.
You got another 24 hours in you. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So these are all things that we should be thinking about anyway. Yes. But we have to remember that there's going to be a lot of restructuring going on. And so if you want to help with the restructuring, if you can help with the restructuring, go for it. But don't say bad words. Don't talk, what about it. Instead, put positive energy into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a big thing. I'm hearing about it a lot. I'm hearing I've been getting a lot of crazy videos and stuff. People are sending me videos. Is this real? No, it's not real. But there are some real things going on that we need to pay attention to help manifest something better with the restructuring.
And like I said, you have an opportunity this month to look at some of the things that you're doing. Help yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm helping myself, like I said, different spending habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm helping myself with a better money IQ. I'm helping myself with better wellness.
So think about that kind of stuff. Okay, everyone, focus on that, but don't focus on the fear-based stuff. I feel like that's really what I want to say. Is if it puts you in fear, let it go. Don't watch it. Don't be in it. Don't participate. Mm-hmm. Okay? Do the stuff that helps you feel better. You feel abundant, prosperous, loving, and all the other good stuff. If you're doing it, hopefully others will do it too. They will follow your example.
Or you'll call in the people who will. I'm lucky that the majority of the friends I have in my life are thicker skinned and can see through some of all this sound and fury signifying nothing, or hey, this is a real problem, and where there's smoke there's fire. Right. I don't have a bunch of I don't have people who are out of touch with their courage. So grab your courage, better yourself, make smart choices.
Yeah.
And have a great April.
Yes. So we are going to have a great April. And next week, guess what we're talking about? Karma. We got to talk about karma. Because the numerology people, the people that watch my numerology videos, they're all talking about karma right now. So we're going to be talking about karma next week. It'll be very fun for us. Make sure you bring your questions. That way you can get some answers. And if you need to watch the show again, I'm going to be posting it on my webpage under a spiritual show. I'll probably post it tonight or tomorrow. So check it out if you have to watch it again. All right. So have an awesome week. Have a really awesome week. Yeah. Remember, keep your heart open and align with the energy of love. We'll see you next week. Bye.